Most pivotal turning point in my life, which really defines and changes everything. Like the real moment that it all changed. We went to an after hours party, me and a real good friend, and it was a setup, and there was some horrific violence took place, and everybody was good after, but I woke up that morning and it was like, that's it. Like never again will I be in this position for to even be around it.
Mm.
And I left Belleville on a whim. I went back to my hometown. I stayed with a drum corps friend, someone I've known for 30 something years, and that was the bond drum corps people have. It's like you call them on the fucking phone and they're there. And I was like, look, I got to get out of here, man. And so I flashed out, and it took about 3 months for me to really transition and change the phone numbers and drop the contacts and define who was really your friend and who was just part of that life that you held on to.
Oh, yo, that's the
And Kevin,
biggest thing you said just there. When you
well,
evolve,
it also,
because you can
yeah,
generalize it when you evolve to decide who is actually your friend and who is just in that whirlwind of circumstances that existed around you. Because I see, and I say that as like double it down because I find sometimes people think they're friends, but they're not
I'll do you
actually
one
friends.
word. I'll do you one deeper. Because I was starting to study Buddhism, I found an enlightenment to myself in Buddhism that like there was this part of me that had always been there, that was probably just screaming to fucking be a way of life for me. But I was so wrapped up in that reputation, need the flex all the time, blah blah. Fuck, I need that car, I need that chain, bullshit, all the bullshit dreams that they fucking tell you should chase. And there was this part of me, this inner peace that was just fucking longing to get out. And so when I was transitioning, like you said, the deepest part about when you're deciding who's your friend and who's not, I'll let this one marinate with you too, bro, is you sit and you think and you look at these friends, and as you like, we do this so much, you know, all the time. I challenge anybody to do that in your fucking contact list. Pull up your contact list and fucking do that. And just take a quick glance at every person that you go by. If you're anything like myself, I get flooded with a gazillion memories in fractions of a second just looking at their name. And so I looked and I'm like, you don't need to be a part of my new life. This. And you stop at some people though, and you think that they're so deep in that life that you need to get away. But then you ask yourself, if you can change, why can't I bring them along to change with me?
Mm.
You know, and to quote a really good friend of mine, you know, you can't soar like an eagle when you're surrounded by turkeys, right? And I
Yeah.
think about that a lot, as funny as fucking shit as it is, and it's a cool little saying. But I speak metaphorically to my friends all the fucking time. I think deep, and I try to give passive messages to people. But when you think about that on a level, there's also that inside you that wants to say, well, like maybe some of these turkeys ain't been given a chance to be an eagle yet either, right? So you struggle with
Mm.
changing your life so pivotably, but while enlightening yourself, you're thinking those people that you really care about that are in that other life that you don't want to be a part of anymore, do you take them with you?
Yo,
Do you put that
it's
effort in to
actually a
say, look,
really
you got to check this out, man. Listen, this isn't for us. I know you're not like that. Come with me. Come with me. Right. And where do you give up and say, no, fuck, maybe they're not? And that was a huge, huge struggle for my life for the first year of actually, studying Buddhism and taking that major change of life was drawing a line in the sand and saying, how much effort do I put in to save those friends of mine that, I want them to see what I see right here. And that's putting it really lightly for such an in-depth, deep mental state that I
yeah.
was going through at that time.
I really it resonates a lot with me because in the last couple of years, my whole world has changed. It's not what it used to be. My priorities are no longer what they were. Um, I know I can come off like a pompous asshole, but a lot of it is because I'm trying to play this character as, I'm an entertainer. It is what it is. But like on the real,
We're
it's
on
like,
screen, it's different.
but like off cam, man, I'm a lot more meek. Like I'm really paranoid a little bit because like, how do you siphon through the intentions of people? And then like you said, like so you come across somebody and you think they're really interesting, and then you see they're living like a way that you maybe don't fully subscribe to or align with, or and it's not a judgy thing. I just know that there's certain
Nah,
environments that I don't think I could do well. As in, I would fuck up. I would do one of those things you're not supposed to do, and I would fuck it up. So I try not to be like that because I don't have like the skill to navigate these worlds. But then you look at other people, and I look at it like equated to like I want to make real money. I don't want to make small money. And it's like, how do you explain to people how to make real money once you see the light? Once you see kind of like that like bigger picture of where things can be at? How do you go back and like explain like, yo, maybe that's not it? How much of your time and effort to put into an individual, knowing that everyone's ultimately gonna just do what they want, regardless of what makes sense to you, to me. Like, cause I know it makes sense to me. So when I
true.
hear what you're saying, it resonates a lot with me because yo, that's like that's my day and now. That's today for me. So it's cool that
Right.
you bring it like that because I don't know how to make that distinction, but I know that you learn. I feel like you find it within yourself and where your own boundaries are, and that there is no like globalization for it, unless you have a
I,
globalized wisdom to it, because you might.
I feel like I feel like growing up, I try to rationalize it like to myself like this. A lot of my loved ones say to me all the time, why are you still trying to help that guy? Why are you trying to still help that girl? Should have gave up a long time ago. And I can't explain to them enough. And my own mother and my aunt, if they're both watching, will vouch and say, there was a time in my life where everybody had given up on me.
Okay.
There was no one there except my mom, God bless. um, and society, general society, especially as a small town, you get a reputation real quick. I did my first like YO stint when I was 15 years old, and it involved a weapon.
Hold on. Is YO
So when
youth
you,
offender? Is that what that means?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So when you're young, and you're in a small town like that, and you do something as drastic as it was, word spreads quick. And then when you continue on that path all the way till you leave the small town, you've earned that reputation. You're lost cause. There's no hope for him. He's this, he's that,
Yo,
all the
you're
other things
speaking
I've
on
heard.
some big shit right now.
So when you fast forward now to my life, to where I made that transition, and the irony is that I went back to my hometown and stayed with one of my friends who knew me from time I was starting to bang my first drum to when I was getting my first set of bracelets, and taken out of my family home, and they've seen my whole life, they've been a part of the whole thing, and for them to watch that transition in my hometown. So that was really ironic to look back. But now I look and I say to people all the time, I can't just give up. I'm the poster child for people can truly change.
I love it.
They say once you're a criminal, you're always a criminal. Once a criminal record, you'll never get away from it. And a lot of people, when they make the change that I made, they try to hide from their criminal record and they'll hide it. I had no choice but to embrace it and use it as part of my educational platform to try to inspire, especially the younger generations that I work with, and say, like, let me tell you this. I'm not your dad. I'm not your fucking uncle. I'm not your brother. I'm just telling you because I've been there. And I'm going to say, if I can save you 10 years of heartache by sharing my experience with you, you know, tell you that fucking chain you're chasing, that fast ass car and all that shit, this is what they make it look like on TV and then fucking videos. And yeah, that's great and all that. You want to flex. But at the end, there's only like a handful out of a gazillion guys who tried to live that life who make it in the end. And the struggles to get there, the loss of family, the loss of ties, the violence I've seen and been exposed to. If when I share that with people in the depths of, yeah, this is my criminal record. I ain't even been in trouble in like 12, 15 years or some shit. I lost count, but I share it openly instead of hide it, because that way you can be some kind of inspiration. Don't try to be a fucking hypocrite. Don't try to fucking say, I've all changed and this is all great, and try to pretend that you weren't something that you were back in the day. I was that guy. That shit that people talk about back in Whitby, that asshole, that fucking meathead. Yeah, that all that shit's true, right? It's just not the person that stands here before you today. That journey that I've taken to get here, you know. But to try and deny the past or pretend it didn't exist or that criminal record isn't there, that's just being fraud, and that's no way to be inspirational to anybody else or help anybody motivate to become, to say that that's not the only way of life. That's not it, bro. There's more to it. You got to find that transitional point within yourself and move it, right?
Yo, that's a lot of things that I philosophically align with that you just said that are like really huge.